بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good noon, Prep 2, and Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I hope that you all are doing well at your home. So, after having a long break, I'm back. First of all, what you have to do, you have to open your course book, means your textbook, and textbook's page number 76. You must have a pencil or highlighter in your hand to write down difficult words or the explanation or further meanings of the words. Okay, so unit we have health. We are continuing the same unit, and the topic today I have taken diseases that once killed. Actually, the topic is relevant to nowadays situation as the globe started suffering with epidemic situation, then it turned into pandemic situation. So the topic relates to the same situation we are suffering, and this topic, diseases that killed, that once killed, will let you know the what should I say, that will let you know the dangers of a disease or of diseases, a few specific diseases in the history which were quite famous, and still they are recalled that they were disastrous. So, do you want to have a rhyme along with me? So let's have a rhyme. There is a rhyme which is quite famous. We have been studying. We all have been reciting and performing in our since our childhood. So it was that ringa ringa roses, a pocket full of posies. A tissue, we all fall down. It was quite famous for everyone, and even in my childhood, it was famous. So there is a history behind this rhyme, and the history is quite black, quite terrible, horrifying for the people of Asia and Europe specifically. If we talk about Europe, Europe was uh, brutally suffered with with that disease, or a few disease were over there. So I have selected one disease today. Come on, page number 76. Not a lengthy lesson, so I'm reading it. Let's come to the glossary to understand the meaning. Inoculate. Inoculate is to introduce a small amount of the disease into a person's body. This is done to make that person immune to, to the disease. Inoculate means to protect any disease that is brutally spreading, or that is becoming widespread. So for that, there is a vaccine or any kind of medicine, or especially to stop or to safeguard people's life. So meaning of inoculate, guard it, or protect it, which could resist that disease which is spreading. Bubonic plague. Bubonic plague is named after the swellings and sores known as baboons that covered people's bodies. So the disease we are going to talk about today, it was different. Like when people started suffering from this disease, so their symptoms would be so terrible. Like they were having balloon, or like a balloon swelling on their faces. There were bubbles in small and big shapes. They started forming on their faces or on the whole body, and their whole body used to be covered with that. So it made them terrible or ugly. Ugly means that people means a common people wouldn't be liking to see that person who is suffering from that disease. That was terrible. Antibiotics. Antibiotics are drugs that kill harmful microorganisms. Simple that we take antibiotics to recover ourselves as soon as possible. An epidemic. Epidemic is a disease that spreads through a community. Like means epidemic disease that is spreading community to community, means person that started spreading from a person to another person, then travel to other regions or areas. That is called epidemic. Posy. Here in the poem we had a word pauses. A pocket of pauses. Okay, so here pauses singular, pauses are plural. A posy is a small bunch of flowers and medicinal herbs carried to provide fragrance and protection from infection. So I have explained you because these terms will be used in this lesson. Now, if we talk about today, so we can safeguard ourselves, we can protect ourselves from different diseases, which in the past killed many people, like millions of people were killed because of many diseases, like influenza means a flu, that was a pandemic situation in the history, and that killed millions of people over many years. It was continued. For example, both adults and children used to die of smallpox. So, the disease we are talking about, bubonic plague, in that people suffering from while suffering from that disease, they had imposed bubonic bubble kind of pox on their faces, which were sometimes were bigger in size, or sometimes which were like a bunch of flowers on their faces. That definitely made them terrible. They started suffering from fever. They started having stretch and pain in their joints, in their legs. So these were the symptoms of that disease. The faces of those who survived, as I have told you, the disease were often disfigured with ugly pock marks, and many people were also left blind because of that bubonic pox or appearance. Mm, People became blind. Many people became blind. That was the disease for which there is no inoculation, means there was no protection, there was no antibiotics, no medicine was there to stop that epidemic or that disease. But which modern antibiotics can now treat? Now, modern in modern means in these days, in modern century, antibiotics can now treat that disease. Now we can see that we are not having that kind of terrible bubonic pox on our faces. We have simple chicken pox, small pox, fine. So it was about ancient disease. So there was no antibiotics or no medicine available for that terrible or horrible disease. There are records of disease from the ancient times, but the worst epidemic in recorded history is the Black Death that is spread throughout Europe in the 14th century, when it is said to have killed a third of the population, which is a big mass of people, spread by the fleas, small insects which are wingless. It was spread through the insects which were wingless, or which are infected fleas. A parasitic insect they are called, which suck blood from human's body, that infested rats and other animals. The plague went on to kill many people in Asia, Africa, and America before a cure was found. So that fleas in parasitic animals, they infested even animals, different animals, red and different animals became the reason of spread uh, this epidemic, Black Death, which was famous as Black Death. So, if we talk about the origin of that disease, so origin of disease is that it was arrived in Europe through ships in 1347. So it arrived in Europe, and before arriving in Europe, it was the Europe and Asia was stuck with this disease, and 13th century. It was 13th century when the Europe and Asia were stuck in this disease. But it finally arrived in Europe through ships in 1347, and it continued to 5 years. 5 years it continued to 5 years, and it brought a great disaster in result of taking many lives of people. 20 million people only in Europe were killed. That was a great mass of people in the history. And those ships which arrived in Europe through sea, they were called death ships. And its cure was discovered. So it was discovered in 19th century by a French biologist whose name was Alexandre Yersin. He was a French biologist who discovered the medicine for this germ. And now the medicine to treat this uh, this disease is available in the markets and everywhere. Now we can deal with this bubonic pox and chicken pox, smallpox, so we can easily deal. But in the history, uh, it was it brutally killed millions of people. So this poem has this background, that if you think about that poem, I'm reciting this poem again for you, that ringa ringa roses, a pocket full of hoses, a tissue, we all fall down. Find means this stanza of the poem describes or tells us that how it starts, how this disease starts and how it ends. Ends means definitely in the past. If we talk in the past we talk about, so it ends in a definite death. Like first you will start after fever, you will start having radishness on your cheeks, and then you would be having pox on your face, on your body. Then your tissue means your nervous system, your tissues of the body will start damaging. Then we all fall down, you will definitely die. Fine. It was the summary. I have added more from my side so that it would be easy for you to understand. So here one more thing is written, that how it is spread. It is spread person to person in the air. We are talking about the plague, bubonic plague, which is also called or famous as Black Death in the history. Person to person in the air, then through the bites of infected fleas. So that were the things. You may search further, and you would be having an assignment as well in English literature that you have to do in English literature copy, not in English language. So as we know that this lesson does not have any word meaning section, word pool, no comprehension, looking closely. So I haven't given you any assignment to do. to do, but there are two topics you have been given, and what you have to do, you have to search for those topics. You have to search that from where it entered into the country or into the continent or the region, and how long they continued, were they epidemic turned into pandemic. So these were the things you have to search. You have to collect information. You have to pick important lines which are describing the detail of the disease, and two different diseases I have put over there. Even I have written the years for the both diseases. You have to write down only the topic in the search column, search tab, and then you may search the history. So paragraph wise, you have to paragraph making is a good thing, and I would suggest you, I would recommend you that you have to follow paragraph making. No note form means like no continuous form, note form. So first you will start searching for the first disease that affected in the history many people. You have to prepare a record for them for it, and then for the second one you will be you will be putting the heading on the second page, and then you would be writing information in note form means making paragraphs for that disease. Please do not directly go to the Google and start writing the information. No, first sort out sentences, details, information, air, origin, discovery, solution, their medicines, cure, everything you have to search. Then read them, compile them, make them paragraphs. Later on, reread your content, then reread for grammatical mistakes, and then definitely you would be having a proper and appropriate piece of information. They both can be called articles as well and essays as well. Fine. So I'll be backing after a few minutes. Wrap up your English literature stuff and get ready for English language class.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, I'm back again, and now you would be having pencils, rough notebooks in your means along with you. Fine. So we will continue tenses, and today we will be studying two remaining tenses, which are past perfect tense and future perfect tense. Present perfect tense we have completed. This is actually the review you already you have studied in prep 1. Okay, prep 2. Now today we are going to study the topic past perfect tense. So in past perfect tense, actually what do we do? The past perfect tense describes the action which are already completed before some point in the past. Before some point in the past. The events or the actions which are completed earlier before some point in the past. Fine. So here I have written sentence structure. Sentence structure for past perfect tense is subject, had, auxiliary verb, past participle verb, object, other part of the sentence. So your sentence can stop here, but I write especially here because if you want to prolong your sentence, you want to write any time expression, you want to give any adverb here, you want to write adverb, any adjective, or you want to connect any other phrase or word. So it is called other part of the sentence. Negative of that, subject with had, we put not between the had and past participle verb. Fine. So to make the sentence negative, subject hadn't, I have written a contraction here, participle verb, object, other part of the sentence, full stops while making a positive sentence or a negative sentence are important. Please do not forget to put full stop at the end of your positive and negative sentences. In the question sentence, helping verb will come out, and then subject, past participle verb, which is definitely called third form of the verb, but I do not use it because it is simply past participle verb. Object, other part of the sentence, and question mark, which is an imperative part of question sentences. If you do not put it, if you forget to put it, so it means your question sentence wouldn't be a question sentence. Fine. Example: I had finished the task last month. I had completed my task, or I had completed the task at some point in the past. So it was completed, it is not further remaining, it was done. Fine. I can give you more example. If okay, let's change this sentence into negative. How would you be changing this into sentences? Let's make I had not or hadn't finished the task last month. Had I finished the task last month? Question mark. Fine. Second example, if I give you, they have gotten. They have gotten. Sorry, it would be had. They had gotten good grades in the exams. Okay. They had gotten good grades in the exam. I have written here They had gotten good grades in the normal. What is the difference between got and gotten? Fine. Here is the verb got. Here is the verb get. Okay. Got, got. It could be past verb. It could be past participle verb. And here I write got and gotten. So one thing which is a major distinguish between both of them, but we do not know. When we talk about past participle verb, which is when we write got in past participle form, it is followed in British English. Okay. But when we talk about gotten in past participle verb, or in when we write gotten in past participle verb, so it is followed in English, it is followed in American English. This is the distinguish between both of them. All right. So you may write here, they had got or they had gotten good grades in the exam. So what would be the negative of this positive sentence? Let's make. They had not gotten good grades in the exam. And then how do we change this sentence into a question sentence? Had they gotten good grades in the exam, or had they got good grades in the exam? Question mark, which is necessary to put. Is that clear? So for practicing when you would be doing your work, so what you have to do, I have sum up my one lecture only here. Second, I will proceed. Past perfect tense, you have to prepare the title page, proper title page of tenses. Then heading you would be writing past perfect tense, and after that sentence structures you would be writing sentence structures as I have written. Then examples you would be following from board. If you want to write their negative and question sentences, that is well and good. If you want to make your own sentences after writing down the sentence structure, so it is up to you. There is no hard and fast rule, and you are not forced or bound to follow only my sentences. Is that clear? Let's come on future perfect tense. In future perfect tense, what do we do? We will have to raise the board because we have two auxiliary verbs in future perfect tense. Fine. So in future perfect tense, what do we do? In future perfect tense, the actions with future perfect tense describes the actions which are expected or which are expected and supposed to happen after an event, or after you complete to plan an event. All right. Sentence structure is, I'm writing beginning with here, subject will have past participle form, past participle verb, object, other part of the sentence, other part of the sentence. Okay, fine. While changing this into negative, yes, help me change. Subject we will break two helping verbs, will not have past participle verb, object, other part of the sentence, Question mark is important. You mostly forget to put question mark in sentences, positive or negative. Helping verb, one helping verb we will take first, then subject, past participle, verb, object. Here is other part of the sentence. And what is imperative here? To put a question mark. Okay, fine. Come on, examples. Keep thinking on examples. Before me, you have to make a sentence in your mind. Yes. Sarah will have successfully done her research. Okay. Sarah will have successfully done her research. Is that clear? Let's change this sentence into negative. Sarah will not have successfully done her research. Then change this sentence into question. Will Sarah have successfully done her research? Question mark. Is that clear? We use future perfect tense to describe the actions which we are expecting or planning to commit to do in the future. Okay, and how do we do that? We complete a task, then we complete a task being definite that we would be completing our task till that definite time. So this is our planning. Fine. Planning to complete a task or target into future. Is that clear? Fine. Now the same pattern you have to follow. Is that clear? And the most important thing is that again you have to begin your work with a new page, not from the same page where you have ended your past perfect tense. Future perfect tense heading would be over there. Sentence structures you have to write. Then example of mine you can copy if you don't want to copy. So you have been given sentences, five sentences for each topic to make. Is that clear? So keep practicing tenses. Tenses are very important to improve your speaking, to develop a paragraph, for writing, and for means in conversation as well, in discussion as well. Fine. So I hope that lecture is clear. It was not difficult. So keep practicing. I'll meet again in the next class with another topic. Till then, take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.